Hello, everybody. This is lecture 13. It will correspond to the lecture 13 notes that I have on Blackboard. And actually, it's a little bit longer and it's super important. So I've decided to split this video into two parts. I like to try to keep the videos under 20 minutes, as I'm sure you all have seen. And this one just wasn't possible to cut it down and hit the highlights unless I split it into two pieces. So we're going to go through the first half, and then if you'll join me for marketing segmentation part two in the next video, then you will see what that looks like. So market segmentation. So this is kind of interesting, and perhaps in one of the previous videos, I haven't really kind of discussed what my theory is on marketing. Let's say that I've got a car. The four wheels are really our four P's, right? Product, price, place, and promotion. They're keeping us on the ground. They're the four pillars of the car. The engine is the customer. And it is important. Nothing goes without the customer. And this is market segmentation is so important within this customer context, but that's the engine. And then we have the rest of the car, all the slick stuff. Maybe we have heated seats and leather and navigation and all that. That's the brand. That's all the branding components that we put into it. So that's kind of how we think of this. So market segmentation is incredibly, incredibly important. And really any marketer in that's working with all of the various elements will have to deal with market segmentation. Very few items, unless they're generic, will deal with something that is it's not segmented. And even those people try to do it. So imagine, let's think about this scenario first. Imagine that you're opening a new restaurant. People and your customers are those who like to eat outside of their homes. That's a restaurant eater, correct? But is it enough to build a marketing strategy? No. No, what kind of food is it? How expensive is it? How far is it from their house? I mean, does it have a drive-through? Is it fast food? Is it casual? Is it fine dining? Is it good for kids? There's so many things that we have to think about in a restaurant. So we need segmentation to help us understand that. So the people who make up the customers, they're going to have their own priorities, wants, likes, and everything like that. How do we get to know our customer? Well, there's mass marketing versus market segmentation. Let's talk about mass marketing for a second. Mass marketing is a strategy that assumes there's nothing different, right? There's nothing undifferentiated, as we would call it. It communicates with one broad message, okay? It is going to be, really generic type items that everybody uses, such as toilet paper, okay? Something like that. Everybody uses it. Everybody needs it. And so it's broad message, okay? It aims to attract the highest number of potential customers, and it's a one size fits all. That's what mass marketing is. There's a lot of different items out there, but that's what mass marketing is, okay? So what are the advantages of mass marketing? Well, it's lower cost, right? It fits everybody. I can talk to everybody. Everybody has to use toilet paper. If I'm Charmin, one big message is fine. It's one advertising campaign, one marketing strategy, and it's a standardized product. Okay, that is what mass marketing is. What are the disadvantages? Well, it doesn't take into account consumer differences. And this, my friends, is where the money comes in, right? If I can show people how different I am, how special I am, then I can start to leverage myself a little bit higher price point. I'm a better service. I'm a better product. Maybe I'm a luxury brand. Maybe I'm something that you can't find everywhere else. So there's all sorts of ways I can differentiate myself. But if I can do that, then I can really capitalize on that for sure. It leaves a brand vulnerable to changes in the market, right? It's highly substitutable. If I get laid off from my job, maybe I'm not buying Charmin anymore. Maybe I'm just buying the Walmart brand of toilet paper, whatever that is. It's very substitutable. If maybe I don't buy Crisco vegetable oil anymore, maybe I just buy the store brand. These are all things that it doesn't even matter. So that's what is the danger of and the disadvantage of mass marketing, especially when you have a big brand in a mass market environment. They're easily challenged by competitors. Can I go to Dollar Tree and get a spatula, or do I have to have this Williams Sonoma one? They're highly. I'm sure that a lot of you would argue, yeah, the Williams Sonoma one's better. Sure. Maybe I go to a Walmart spatula, okay? But these are things that are easily challenged by competitors. What's a mass marketing example? The Coca-Cola winter holiday is a mass marketing. They have a broad appeal. They're not just going women 25 to 35 who live in the South, and they are very broad. So even a big brand can be very broad. It appeals to everyone. Why does it work for them? Well, Coca-Cola already has an established brand and a very loyal following. Soda is one of those things that people are very specific toward and they have an affinity for. So that is a little bit different, but that's the reason why Coca-Cola can get away with a mass marketing strategy. On the flip side, what's market segmentation? This is how we break down all the customers into smaller segments, okay? And they have different sorts of characteristics. And the way that we break them down is a number of different ways that we're going to kind of talk about through a minute. Mass market segmentation's natural result of the vast differences among people. And this is really the foundation. This is what market segmentation is all about. What are the benefits of using market segmentation? We are able to create stronger marketing message. They are tailored, specific, personalized. We get the best return on our investment because we are more effective in how we're saying it. If I'm marketing to 25 to 35-year-old women, I'm saying something different than I'm marketing to 65 to 75-year-old men. It's a very different way we would talk to them and different places where we might reach them. We're hyper targeted. Okay. We are attract and converting people faster. Converting is when we get people to take an action and do a sale. So they're buying something, they're subscribing, maybe they're doing some sort of action that we want them to take. All right. So this is what market segmentation has the benefit of. It also allows me to differentiate myself, right? If I have watches, and I want to be different than everybody else out there, then I need to have those differences. Am I a luxury watch? Do I have more features on a digital watch? How am I different? Differentiation, particularly in your subscription box, is key. How are you different? Otherwise, someone's coming in, they're doing it better, they're doing it cheaper, however they're doing it. You need to figure out what is your point of differentiation. That is how you sustain your business, is by saying this is what we do differently. Even a place like McDonald's has a point of differentiation. They are fast, they are inexpensive, they are well known, and they are consistent all across the board. So every time I go to McDonald's, wherever I'm at in the world, I know I'm going to get a very consistent French fry. And that's part of their business model. That's part of their differentiation. We're able, through market segmentation, to build deeper customer loyalty because they feel like we're doing something specific for them, right? I know that the brands I use, I feel like they understand me as a customer. And we're able to keep all of our marketing objective on track. Who's in the market? So people who share similar needs and wants, okay? People willing to purchase, people who want the good or service, have the resources to be able to purchase, and they're ready, willing, and able to be a part of the market. Okay. People who are not a part of that market, maybe one of these days I dream about having, a Lamborghini. I'm not in the target market. I'm a dreamer. I am not ready, willing, and able. Maybe ready, maybe willing, but maybe not absolutely able to purchase a Lamborghini. So I'm not a part of their marketing strategy. Types of markets. There's consumer market. These are consumers who purchase goods and service for personal use. And then there's the industrial market, the business market. And these are businesses who purchase these things for the business objective. They are not consumer type use. Okay. What kind of market are we working for? If I'm selling shampoo to a retail store for a customer, that's a consumer market. If I'm selling it to a trade show or a salon, hotels, and things like that, that's industrial, right? Even though a customer will ultimately use that at a hotel, it's really an industrial type of use because it doesn't matter who the end user is. It matters how that funnel flows. Okay. Market share, a company's market share. This is the percentage of the total sales volume that it's generated by all the companies that compete in a given market. So in basic terms, if we were to say that a particular market is a $1 billion market and someone has a $100 million market share, they have 10% of the market. They have 10% market share. That's how that works. And a company with a large share of the market, they can afford to take some risk. So we've seen some companies definitely take risk over the years, but their brand is insulated. They can support it a little bit better than a small one. The small ones have to be scrappy. They have to make sure that their decisions count and they're not too risky, or it could cause their whole business to fold. Target markets. So the goal of market segmentation is to identify the group of people that's most likely to purchase your product, that wants your product and is willing and able to buy your product. So who is that group? If I am selling pink, sparkly Nikes, who is that? I don't know. That's what the market research will tell us. Maybe it's 9-year-old girls. Maybe it's 50-year-old guys. I don't know, but that's where we're at with it. It's who the most likely person is, and that's where we're going to go out and try to find them. All right. The goal of market segmentation is identify this. It's important because all marketing strategies are directed. Companies all use this to try to funnel the right message to the right person, because that leads to more sales. I feel like they're talking to me. So how do we do this? We call it STP. This will come up in your subscription boxes: segmentation, targeting, and positioning. STP. You'll hear it over and over again in all of your marketing classes. Segmentation, the ability to identify target segments. Targeting, evaluating these target segments and deciding which is most profitable to pursue. All right. And positioning. How am I going to show that customer that they need that I fit their needs, that this is going to work for you? Okay. So these are all the ways that we do it, and we will get more in detail about this. But remember, STP, segmentation, targeting, positioning, very important to understand. Marketing segmentation, these ability to break down these large groups, as previously stated. So what's the difference between segmentation and targeting? Because that seems very confusing, and it seems like I've tossed a lot on you. That's the reason why we've broken this into a couple of lectures, of course. Segmentation, this is a process of dividing potential customers into smaller groups to help better understand them, okay? Targeting, who are we going to reach out to direct our message at, okay? So say that I have a, let's say that I have a new shampoo. We had shampoo a couple of slides back. And this shampoo is for people who have blonde hair, color dyed blonde hair, not natural dyed hair. And it helps, kind of keep it healthy and shiny and all those sort of things. Okay. So now I have to go, okay, who is it? Well, first there is the people who have dyed their hair. That's segmentations. And then it's people, we can segment further, people who've dyed their hair blonde, brown, red, whatever, purple, pink, whatever. And then we're going to target those people who have dyed their hair blonde. And that's how we're going to target. Okay. We may further decide to target them based on gender. Maybe more women dye their hair blonde than male. I don't know those statistics. That's not a market I've done a lot of. But if we did, we could have further divided down in that way as well. What are the 5 criteria to be considered a market? There must be a true need or a want for the product or service. If you don't have that, it ain't a market. It's just a bunch of people. Okay. If nobody out there truly could afford to buy a Lamborghini, there's no market. Okay. And there's a lot of things that are out there that people, they don't buy and they're not around. There's not a true want or a need. Some things are ahead of their time. If something is too advanced that nobody knows how to use it, it's ahead of its time. 20 years ago, something like an Alexa would not have had a market. People didn't have smart homes. People didn't see the need for it. So there is something that needs to kind of go in front of it in order to make sure that people are ready for that. And there is a market. Number 2, the person or organization must have the ability to pay for it. A desire alone does not constitute a market. I may want a Lamborghini. I cannot afford it. Therefore, I'm not a part of the market. If there are not enough people to be able to do it, there's no market. All right. The next thing, the person or the organization must be willing to buy it. Just because I can afford it doesn't mean I'm willing to buy it. So there must be people who are not only willing to can afford it, but they're willing to buy it. So capping it down, there's a need. There's people who have the money to buy it. There's people who will actually buy it. Number 4, the person or the organization must have the authority. Maybe I'm I have all the money in the world as a TikTok influencer and I have millions, but I'm 15. I can't buy a Lamborghini. So I have to be a certain age in order to do that and drive it and everything else. So they have to have the authority and the capacity and the ability to be able to buy something. And then finally, the total number of people or organizations meeting all of these 4 criteria, they must be large enough to be profitable. And that constitutes a market. When you're thinking of your subscription boxes, if it's so narrow that you can't meet these 5 criteria, you don't have a product in a market. So you need to think through these things as well. What are the objectives of segmentation? Well, we want to improve our understanding of our prospective customers. And that's really important. We want to be able to reduce our risk. I don't want to market to everybody. It's super expensive. I will tell you a story. I once had a guy I was marketing for some restaurants, a regional chain of restaurants. And he came to me and he said, I want 100,000 followers on Instagram. And I said, 100,000 followers on Instagram? I think you've got 1,500. And he said, I don't care what we have to do to get them. I said, well, you should care what we have to do to get them. He said, I don't even care where they're located. I was like, well, you should care where they're located because you're a regional restaurant. If I have people located in California or New York or Canada or other places around the world, and they can never actually come to this restaurant, it doesn't matter. They're not a part of your market. And every time we advertise, we're going to advertise to our group of followers, and they can never actually buy anything. I'm going to spend money on people who can never bring you money. He said, well, I want a number of people that Wendy's has. I said, well, there's a lot to unpack here. Wendy's has a professional comedian that they hire. I've used to work with a company that did their marketing and said that's a professional comedian. 1, 2, you can get a Wendy's anywhere in the country. And so they're not unachievable to say they want a widespread appeal. I said, so there's a number of different things here to consider. So make sure that your target market actually has the ability to buy your product. Maybe you're an online business, then anybody has an opportunity. But if you're a regional brick and mortar type of place, you don't have that opportunity. Segmentation also helps us to increase our efficiency by directing our effort in ways that are consistent. Okay. If I am selling my hair shampoo for folks who dye their hair and are blonde, maybe I'm not selling it at certain types of locations, right? Maybe the Dollar Tree is not the right place. Maybe I have done my research and found that people who spend $150 every 6 weeks to dye their hair, maybe they like going to a drugstore or a high-end store and really taking care of their hair. Maybe they don't. I don't know, but that'd be the kind of research. We want to make sure that we're marketing in a very consistent way. Choosing a market. We want somebody that is profitable to serve, and we want them to be receptive to our products. If they're not receptive to it, we cannot actually end up converting them to any type of the sales. What are some common segmentation approaches? I warn you, this will probably be something you see again, wink, wink, especially if you're watching this video and you are thinking about the exam. So here's some common segmentation approaches. Geographic. So maybe I am somebody who is a restaurant, and I'm going to be segmenting people who are within 5 or 10 miles, right? Outside of that area, probably not coming to visit me unless I'm like a real draw a destination, but that's different. So this is geographic. Demographic, age, gender, family size, income, occupation, education, Lamborghini. They're definitely going to segment on income. If I don't have a certain income, I can't buy that item. I can't buy that car. So sometimes their age, right? Sometimes I'm selling, children's toys and things like that. That's age. And certain things are men and women. So we have different things that are, to think about and how they do it. If I go to Costco, they're marketing specifically to families and businesses, people who are buying in bulk. Psychographic. This is lifestyle, personality, attitude, social class. So we see that as well. We want to make sure that something is fitting who we are, what our social status and social class is. So this is what my personality does. Maybe they have found out that I like to play tennis. And so I start getting different things marketed for people with a lifestyle, an active lifestyle. So sneakers and athletic equipment and things like that, maybe reaching out to me once they put me in that bucket. Behavioral, user status, purchase occasion, loyalty, ready to buy. Okay, this kind of overlaps psychographic in a little way, but this is, the purchase occasion. We think about that. Behavioral, I need to buy this because I have to have toilet paper. Okay, toilet paper is a mass marketed, but still, you understand there are different things that you need because of the purchase occasion. Maybe I buy something to lotion or wash my face or something like that with, and that's a purchase occasion. I'm buying that every specific often. Maybe I am a coffee drinker and I'm buying that because of a purchase occasion, and maybe I'm buying the same thing, which I do, because of loyalty. Alexa reminds me, hey, you're probably out of coffee pods or you're getting close. Do you want to reorder? And they know that I'll reorder the same thing every single time. Decision maker, the person who has the decision making role. A lot of moms are targeted when there are products for children. Mom is a primary consumer, so she is going to be targeted and segmented for items that are related to children. We can kind of talk through these things really quickly. Let's talk about mass marketing. Everybody everywhere. An example would be Target. Everybody everywhere. They're not targeting it down. They're not saying that they specifically for men or women or children or anything like that, incomes or anything like that. It is just a everybody situation. Differentiated marketing, large groups within the total market. Costco, Sam's Club, those are going to be business buyers. Those are going to be large family type bulk buyers and things like that. That is a smaller subset of the larger general market. Niche marketing, high penetration within a smaller specialized thing. So for example, niche, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, they have a very specific type of customer. They typically hit certain age criteria, they hit income levels, and all of these sort of things when they start figuring out how they're going to segment and advertise. And then micro marketing, individual customers or localized micro segments. Example of that, an older example of that would be Groupon, because they understand and they're serving up very specific things to very specific micro types of audiences. They've got this, and I know that you are probably interested in, going into a pottery class, and then they're going to serve up something that is very interested and specific in that. That is the first of our two segmentation lectures. I thank you for sticking with me. And I know that this is kind of a lot to wrap your head around. And this is one of those places where the online class is a little more difficult than the in-person class, but hopefully this gives you a better idea of just how important market segmentation is. And it is very important. I will see you in the second of our market segmentation lectures. So I will see you in a little bit.